Hello, everyone. Hello. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm telling you, I started out a half hour early. I always start out a half hour early. And sorry, my lamps are making a weird line. Okay. I don't know. I've still got a shadow, but I can't do anything about it. If it's too distracting, let me know and I'll try something else. I just don't know what else to try. Let's try this. Nope, that's horrible. Still going to get a shadow and it doesn't matter any. Well, anyway, if there's a day where all things could go wrong, today's it. Because when I started off my half hour early, my computer wouldn't come on. Oh my goodness, I've been working so hard trying to get everything set up to where we would have a nice place for the paint, for the computer, for the water, to where the water's not on the same level as the computer, and all the things. And I'll be switched if my computer just wouldn't come on. I thought, what in the world did I do? Hi, Bev. And it had come unplugged in all that rearranging and cleaning that I've been doing. And so, okay, easy fix. I got this. And so I plugged it in. Everything's coming on pretty good. And my computer decided it had to run an update. Of course, it's been sitting there for a while, and I've been pretending it wasn't sitting there. And it said, it's going to run this update. Good evening. Good evening. And so something that should have taken a few minutes took a half hour. It said it was 100% complete for 5 whole minutes. And I thought, I don't know, I'm just over it. So anyway, all right, so let the stress be done and let's get to fun things. All right, tonight we're going to learn how to paint a pansy. It's entitled Pansy and Friends because these are just little filler flowers that make your design look fuller. And like when you get a bouquet of flowers and they put baby's breath in it, it's that purpose. Okay. And these can always be any colors you want them to be. And don't look them up in you know, a botany list anywhere because I don't really think that they are real. This one's real. A pansy's real, but these others, I don't really think they are. So, anyway, all right. Today we're going to be learning. Hello. We're going to be learning about value, not like, oh, this is a $1,000 painting. No, it's not. Value like darks and lights. Now, we talked about this darks and lights thing last week. We're going to be talking about it every week for a long time, forever probably, because it is probably one of the most important things that we need to learn in our painting, because the value is what is going to create the depth in a painting. It's going to allow things to be behind and on top and in the background. Value makes things go distant. It brings it up close. It just, it gives it form, not quite substance, but it does give it form. So it's an important thing that we have to know. All right, so I'm going to set this up here so that I can, okay, I won't set it up there. How about if I set it over here? Will that work? I don't know. We'll see how cranky it is. I don't know. All right, and if I put this here, are you able to see it? Yes, I think so. All right. One of the things that we're going to be doing tonight, first of all, I want to tell you, if you're painting along, wake up your watercolors, give them a spray with a spray bottle, or put some water on the colors that you're going to want to use. Pansies come in all different kinds of colors. I chose these colors because I thought it would be something that everybody would have on their palette. I don't know what brands of paints anybody is using. And I thought, well, this would be a good way to I can say purple. Okay, so we've got purple and we've got yellow, and we need more than one of these colors. Now, if you go, oh my goodness, Marilyn, I don't have more than one color, it's okay because we're going to alter them ourselves anyway. You don't need more than one, but if you have more than one, it might be a good thing. I don't know, might not. We'll see as we go along. We'll learn these things, okay? All right, so I'm going to start off by getting my first petal that I'm going to paint wet. Put that water on that. And that has a whale of a lot of water on it. And I knew that wasn't going to sit there. I knew it wasn't. It told me it wasn't going to. And I should have taken it at its word. Okay, there. All right, so I've got water all over this. Now, one of the things, while this water is trying to do its soaking into the paper thing that we need for it to do, we're going to talk about there's a little turn in this. Okay, now most beginner pieces don't have flips and turns in their pieces because it's one more element to challenge you and break your brain and, make you go, Marilyn, why did you do this to me? Because you can do it. All right. Now, I am going to say that the thing that, well, one of the things that takes a piece from being a beginner piece to a an intermediate piece is how hard is it? How difficult is it to paint? How challenging? How challenging would it be to paint? And it's not that this is so incredibly challenging. It's just one more thing to pay attention to. And I think you can do it. So I included it because we'll have all level of painters that come in here. And I want to challenge those who have already done a few things, but not discourage newbies. So if you are a newbie and you don't want to paint these as turns, then pretend they're not there and just go and it'll disappear. You want to be sure and erase it before you put your water on. All right, I'm going to pick up purple. And remember that we say we want this to start out as our light value. But until I get some additional water in this, it's not going to be really light because the color isn't really light. But see, as it picks up water, it calms itself down and decides to play well with others. Okay, we're going to bring this down here because down in this direction is the growth pattern of this particular petal. And we're going to call these petals the uprights. The upright petals are the ones that stand up at the back. These we want tonight to be purple. The ones that go out, the arms, and the fall here in front, those will be yellow. But this beginning two petals right here, we want them to be purple. Now, by all rights, I really didn't want to include this little piece here. I want to save it out for later. But it was wet with all that water that we put on it, so we'll just let it be there. We won't care. And you guys, there's nothing horrendous about any of this. It's very forgiving, very loving, and just relax and enjoy yourself, because if you're not enjoying yourself, you're working way too hard. I'm just going to tell you. And my water brush just went underneath my painting because that's the way we're living today. It's just what we're doing. And it's just that much fun because, you know, because it is just that way. We're just not going to worry about it. Okay, and so I'm going to come back in here and remember on all levels here, not on all levels, that's not what I meant, on all petals, the first level is light. Light, 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 light. Okay, that needs to dry for just a minute. I'm going to show you something that I've been working on. This is a step-by-step worksheet, and I've just got to go back in and put the words on. This level is your first level. Everything's light, 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 and then medium, light, medium, and dark. We add our very darks, and then we add our accents, and it's done. And so I will have copies of these available for you, laminated if you wish. Let me know and we'll talk about how much they're going to be, or if you want to wait until they're all bound in a notebook type form, then you can purchase those later as well. They're not a done deal, so it's not a big thing. Okay, there we go. That's that. I'm going to go ahead and paint. If I can find my brush. There it is. I knew it was there. I saw it roll under. I'm going to go ahead and paint yellow. And you can use whatever yellow you have. If you have several, I'm using Cad Yellow Deep, I think this is. It may be medium, but I don't think so. Okay. And I'm going to water this side. And because these two don't really touch, I can go ahead and add water to this side arm, to this petal that comes out like arms. Right there. We'll put that up there. Maybe it won't roll under my board. It's not quite ready yet. I think this one's more ready than the other side is. And we're going to give this just a nice light coat of yellow. If you're working hard, you're working too hard. Okay. And that needs to set for just a little bit. Not a long time, but a little. While it's set, we're going to come in here. Now, normally, if this were going to be a different color, I would not add water to anything that touched that. But one, those others are not incredibly wet at this point. And two, they're all the same color. So I don't care if it bleeds. It's not going to be crucial to my life or my painting. So we're going to come in here and bring this. We're working this up and down as we go across. And we do that because that's how this petal would grow. The veins would feed it in this direction. When we put our accents in, they will go like this. It'd be like straight down to the side and to the side. But then I want to tell you about all these little dips that are here. I used to think when I was a beginning painter, I used to think that if it came out like this, that the sunshine, the sunshine would hit here first, and that it needed to be light. And it's not coming out and going in, it's going down and coming up. Okay, think dimensionally, not directionally. Okay, so stick that in your brain cell. And I mean, we'll talk about it every time we do something that has this kind of thing on it. It won't be it's like, oh, I've got better write that down or I'll forget. No, we'll talk about it every time. And it's an up and down thing. At some point, we're going to do an iris. And when we paint our iris, that thing has loads of ruffles. And it's a beautiful, beautiful painting. And I'm considering that it needs to be probably at least a 5x7 to an 8x10. If it's a 5x7, it mats to an 8x10. If it's an 8x10, it mats to an 11x14. And those tulips that we did on Facebook, this is what they look like matted. Got a horrible glare, but I chose a really bright matte for an incredible pop of color, and this just thrills my soul. I love it. You want, when you frame your watercolors, it's preferred, not demanded, but preferred that you use a mat on them so that the watercolor, which is fragile, doesn't touch the glass. Okay, I'm going to set that water brush aside. I'm going to come back in to the purple area, and I want to make sure that this still has some moisture to it. So I'm going to just lightly, not as much as what it did the first time around, but I'm going to be working on my medium value here, and it's going to come down on this side of that ruffle, just like that, just like there, because this petal is on top, so this one will be darker shadowed over here. And there's another place right here that also kind of has a little bit of a ruffle, and we bring that color in here, but not here. Right here is the top of that ruffle right there, and we want that to stay light. Now, I'm going to do something on purpose that I don't do this on purpose. Matter of fact, don't do this. It's just I want to show you how to do something, and I can't show you how to do it if I don't have it to show you. I'm going to pick up just a little bit of paint, and I'm going to put that right in here, and I'm going to cover up my light. Like, oh no, what do I do now? I'm going to take just water in my brush. I'm going to lay it down right there. I'm just going to lift up, lift, and then I can take a piece of paper towel, or Kleenex is better, and just touch right in there, and it lifts that paint right off. That area is now drier than it ever has been. So we're going to come back in right there and put more color there. And now I can see my light right there. You don't want to lose your light. Now, if we were working like with the yellow, sometimes, okay, I know how yellow these are going to get, so I did not have you leave this light. But generally speaking, if you want your light to be really bright, you're going to leave it white. You don't paint that area, because once it's painted, like in this yellow area, it's yellow. It is now yellow forever. But we're going to be darkening it significantly, so we're not really worried about that, okay? Because it will still be much lighter. You'll see that when we do the medium value on that color. But knowing how to lift color eases your mind for when you accidentally make mistakes that you think, oh my goodness, I've ruined it. It will never be right again. Yes, it will. It'll be fine. Don't worry. Besides that, it's a piece of paper. It's not, you've not wrecked the world, or, you know, somebody's going to have a significant life failure because you didn't get that right. Who cares? It's all good. It's all right. And if you learn to pay better attention the next time, then you've learned something. And isn't that what a lesson's all about? Learning something. See how that ruffles right there? It ruffles and it ruffles right there. Now, this one has a little place right here that I'm going to call it an attitude. It just has an attitude right there. Now we fix that attitude. If only the attitudes of our children were able to be fixed that easily. But oh well, we move on. Okay, let's do this other petal. And we want to make sure that it is wet enough. So we're going to come in here with a really light, or just water, whichever one you prefer. Probably just do water. Okay, now we're going to pick up color. We're going to come around here. And that goes back, whips forward for that flip. Now that edge has to be light also because it's on top. Okay, right there. You want that to stay light, but you want this to be medium. Tricky, I know, but possible. Tricky, but possible. Okay, I've just got water in my brush. I want to scoot this line over just a little bit. Matter of fact, let's get rid of that line right there. I don't want that right there. Mine is over a little farther than I'd like. So I'm going to let that sit there for just a little minute while I go over here and work on these. Now this is one of those places where we're going to leave that light right there. See that triangle? We're going to let that sit there. Now, as dark as this part is, we want it to blend up there. So I'm going to take the color out of my brush. I've just got water and a damp brush. And I'm just going to come up here and just touch that. Just touch, touch, touch. And it blends those two colors together. The light and the dark just kind of blend. Okay, so we're going to come over here. Now, I think it's settled down enough that maybe not. Okay, it's settled now. Took that water off, and we're going to come back here. There. Because I don't want that to come into my light. I want it to stay out of my light. And back in here, this is not our dark. This is our medium. But with purple, medium is significant, okay? Because it's a very intense dark color. So, and you see how these, it's a very definite line right here. We're going to blend this right in here. Blend, blend, blend with just a wet brush, water. I don't have any color in my brush. And I'm going to just come touch, 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 pat, pat, pat on that line and let that water blend into that light area just a little bit to where it softens. Wet on wet. Okay, this is a profound statement here. Wet on wet creates a soft edge. Now, there are times when you want hard edges, like right there, you want a hard edge. Over here, you want a soft edge. And a soft edge is done by your edge playing with water between the two values right there, light and medium, right there. Okay, and we're going to let that sit. Now, I know that we haven't done this interior part, but we're not going to worry about that. At this point, that's one of the last things we think about, okay? We're going to come on down to the yellow. We're going to make sure our area is just a little bit damp. It doesn't have to be soggy. You don't want it to be as wet as it was in the first place. And normally, we would start in the center, But when you see this, in the center of this, it's purple. And we don't want a whole lot of yellow there because yellow and purple are complementary colors and they will make brown. So we're going to start at our edge out here. And we're just going to bring color out here just a little bit right there. We're going to leave our light. See, we're going to leave that triangle right there. And we're going to just bring color on down here. And then with a wet brush, not soppy, just damp brush, we're going to blend that out a little bit there and there and there. And where the light and the medium meet, we're going to just blend there too. We want it to be soft, just soft, just like that. It's just soft. Now it's not as dramatic here because there's not as much contrast as there is on the purple, but it's there, and we've set the stage for beautiful things to come. So we're not gonna worry about, oh well, it's not showing up very well. We don't care. Matter of fact, we're not worrying about anything here. We're just putting in basic values right here. So this is our medium. Okay. And then I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back with a damp brush. It's got a little bit of water, but it's not a really soggy brush. And I'm going to just blend that line to soften it. Just like that. I'm going to flip this upside down because I want to paint this edge. And I'm going to put my color right in here first and bring it up. Now this edge is light, so we want to not get it too dark. If you accidentally get it dark, is it critical? No, it's not a crisis. Matter of fact, there are no crises in this painting unless, you spill your water all over it, in which case you got to let it dry and come back and paint tomorrow because it will be soggy. That would be the only thing. And even that's fixable. This is just a worry-free. Now, where that looks striped right now, it won't be striped. It'll be light and dark and light and dark. Okay, we're going to just play with that edge right there. We're going to play with this edge right here. Just tap, 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 playing with that water. I want to play with the edge over here, just a little bit right in there. Just like that, and that, and there, and there. Because I don't want it to be striped. I want it to be light and dark. And in here, in the very middle, you want yellow right in here. Don't get it too far out because you'll be putting purple in there. Like your purple would be right about like that. See right there? But it's not a solid line. It's like jagged. Okay, so dark and medium, we're ready for, no, light. Light and medium, we're ready for the dark. We're going to start back up here in the purple color. And where we want to start is right in here. And you guys, all I've got is purple. That's it. It's more purple. I'm going to take some of that purple out. And I just want to wet that area just a little bit because I want to be in control of how dark it is. Don't want it to be too dark too fast because this is layered, right? I'm going to come back in here Pick up a little bit more purple, come out to the edge, right in here and down. And beginning students, put your darks in your painting. Put your darks in your painting. Don't leave them out. So many times, and I was guilty too, beginning students say, oh, but it's going to ruin it. No, it's not. Nope, it won't. I promise it won't. Then you just bring that color out again. Now, this dark never goes to the light. The dark is dark because there's no light in it. And the light is light because there's no dark in it. Okay? I know that sounds not quite as profound as what it was in my head, but seriously, the dark and the light are opposite. They're not together ever. You can have them side by side, and that can create a very powerful effect, but they don't coexist. Okay? And you see how I put that in right there? Get in the habit of putting your darks in like that, because then when you put your very darks in, you'll already have the motion down. It'll work beautifully. Okay, we're going to come over to this other side. And inside this turn right here, it's dark. Coming down here. And we're just going to let that go to the middle. And by now, all I've got is basically wet lavender water, so I can come to the edge because it's already run out of oomph. It's just lavender. I'm going to come over in this area. And I want to pick up a little bit more water in my brush than I've had before, because I've got this nice big area right here that needs to be a little bit darker, but not dark. We want that to be our medium, remember? And so we're going to come over here then to the light, and we're just going to play with the edge just like that, and let the medium and the light blend together, and the dark never reached it. We're going to come in here into this little dipped area. Got to get a little bit more water, a little bit more color, and I want to be able to see where this line is, because I don't want to get into my yellow. And so right in there, down, 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 like in that. Then I bring it back up. Want to take out a little bit more of my water there and blend that area right there. I want no color, just water. And I want to play with that line that is between the medium and the light. I think I need to pick up a little bit more purple and come right in here. And because it's wet, it's going to bleed out. And I don't have anything in my brush, not water it's just damp brush. Right there. Right there. Okay. All right, now for yellow, to have a dark yellow, you need a dark yellow. To darken yellow is a challenge. And I almost didn't do these in yellow because I thought I don't want to break new painters' brains, but here we are. There is a color called yellow ochre, which is a dark yellow. It's not brown. Let me put it out on something and you'll be able to see it. Right there. It's like a golden yellow. You would see this a lot in the autumn. And it's a good shading color for yellow. It's not too brown, but it is golden. It's easily controlled. And if you have that color, fantastic. If not, then what do you do? Okay. So if you don't have yellow ochre, you have to look at your palette. Do you have any browns at all? Do you have one that is sort of you don't want it too dark of a brown, because you don't want this to be brown and purple. You want it to be yellow and purple. And so the temptation on that for beginners is going to be to get it too brown. I'm just going to tell you, you're talking tiny smidgens of paint, little hairs of paint. Changing your yellow by adding a touch of purple to it is also a possibility, but oh my, that can go wrong really easy. All right, I'm going to take 2 hairs of purple. And do you see how dirty that? Well, let me do a bigger amount of it so you can actually see it. I think that's too much. Right there. See, it's similar to the yellow ochre, but it looks dirty. Do you see it? It looks like coffee with a little bit of cream in it, but not really. I don't know. It's not real appealing, but it would work. You just have to remember to only use tiny amounts of it. Let's see what happens if we add a little bit of, okay, we've got our yellow there. Let's add a little bit of, let's add a little bit of orange to it. Now, I personally this would almost never be my choice, okay? But it will change your yellow. And will it do it? It will, but it's going to look orange. It's not going to look yellow. It's going to look orange. So, I don't know. I think putting a little drop of your, and when I'm saying a little bit of your purple into your yellow, I'm talking a tiny amount. Don't do too much, okay? Because it will go wrong very quickly. All right, so Marie, you in particular, I don't know what the others have. I know what you are using. Do you have a yellow ochre type of yellow on your palette at all? Yeah, tea with milk. Yes. Not coffee, really. It's thinner than that. Yes, tea with milk. That I'd forgotten about tea with milk, but that's a perfect analogy there. That's what that would be. Well, you have yellow ochre, okay? Marie, do you have yellow ochre? It sort of looks like a cross between yellow and brown. It's not brown, it's yellow. It's just a golden color. Sort of like straw. If you don't, we may have to upgrade you. No, that's what I was afraid of. Try adding, okay, you make a little puddle on a paper plate or something, not paper, like a plastic lid, okay? Make a puddle of your yellow on the plastic lid and add little tiny bits of purple until you get a color that looks like what we're going to show you. Nope, that won't let me do that. Okay, I'm going to put it right in here to where you can see where it's going to go. In here. What did I do with my paper towel? There it is. And it's going to bring down in here. And I work really hard at not getting too much to begin with. So chances are I won't get enough to begin with. That's how I roll. Right in here. I don't want it in the light because it will go brown really fast. Just going to blend right there. See, now I tape that down. Now I can't get it back up. Right in here. And you are better off doing 2 layers of a color than to do a whole bunch of that layer at one time. I'm just going to tell you. I know most students would say not, but I'm telling you, little, by little, by little, by little. Right there, blend, 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 right there. And by now, this is not wet anymore. So your water is in your brush, not on your petal. And then we'll just blend that. But we've got to have a little enough water in there to blend it, right? So make sure you've got that. And I just touched it and took out almost everything I put in there. Right there. Water. Just a damp brush, and I'm blending right in there. Just touch right there. Keeping in mind that purple is going to go in there. And purple and this will be ugly. You don't want too much of it. You need some, but not too much. Over on the other side here, just a damp brush, a wet brush, whatever. Blending it. A little bit in here. And blend it. And I don't have any color in my brush. It's just wet. Blending. Blend, blend. Now, I want to show you something here. This is just a little bit of a dip, just a little bit of an indentation. I can do a strong dark right there, and that fold will look deeper than it is. It'll look more like a, right next to a flip. Not really a flip, but just right next to that. It looks like I did something and I didn't. I just put a little bit more of my shading color there, coming up underneath here, right in there. I've got a wet brush, no color, and I'm just blending right there. Blend, blend, blend right there. Now, right in here, I've got nothing. There's a little bit of a gap there. It's going to be purple, so we don't really care, okay? But this cannot be wet for us to put that purple on there. All right, we're going to do our very frontmost petal right here. I'm going to start in here, and we're going to come up here. Not quite that far, but okay. And I've got no color in my brush, just water. And I'm blending right there. And blending right there. And right here. color out of the brush, just add water and blend over here at this edge. And right here, I want this to be medium and light, not dark at all. Put in there. Picking up my yellow ochre right in here. There. There. And right there. Push that right there. I don't want it in the light. I just want it in the middle of the medium area right there. A little bit more here. And blend right here. And blend right here. It softens that down into the medium area. Just like that. And this is why I don't really like to use the purple to shade, because it deadens the whole petal. And you're working so hard at getting a job done, you don't want to deaden the petal while you're doing it. Right there. I think that is okay. I'm going to call it that part done. All right. So I've got light, medium, and dark. Light, medium, and dark. The next thing I do is very dark. Okay. On the purple. Very dark for purple. If you've already used purple, I mean, you've already done purple and more purple. We're going to pick up a little bit of indigo or Payne's gray. Indigo is preferred. And you're going to put a little bit of purple and indigo together, and it's going to make a bluer version of your purple. And we're going to go right tiny, right in there, in that little semicircle. Wash that out of your brush, and you're just carrying water, and you're going to blend just a little between your very dark and your dark. And if it happens that it wants to come down your line a little bit, you can let it. I wouldn't do too much. Picking that up again, I want a little bit right in this one, just right there. And we don't blend that very much, just a little bit. Another place we want to put that is right in here, next to the yellow petal. Do not get into the yellow petal. Right there. And in the middle. We want right there, because that needs to drop down as well. All right, now that is screaming there. Blend, blend, blend right there. Does not go in the light ever. Right there. Okay, we're going to pick up a little bit more purple, a little bit more indigo. And we're going to go over to the other petal. And right in here, right there, right there. And take the color out. And you're going to just blend with a damp brush just a little bit. You don't carry the color out. You're just blending it where it sits. Right in this area right here. Goes right there. Not in the whole big area, just right there. And Then you want just water, and you're going to blend that just a little bit right there. Right there. That's all. A little bit of this color goes right here where the two petals join, where one goes underneath the other. The purple goes underneath that yellow petal. You want a little bit there, and it just follows the water there. We don't put any right here because that wouldn't be exceptionally dark. It is dark, but not exceptionally dark. Okay. I do want just a little bit right here at this middle. Right there. Okay. And I've got no color in my brush. Well, I thought I didn't. I'm going to pick up a little bit of purple because I don't want that to be too dark. I just want it to be dark. Right in there. And it seems to want to be really wet right there. I don't know why, but it is. So we're going to blend, 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 and blend. Right there. Okay, let's... And of course I don't have any more indigo out. Why would we want to? Because we need it. Okay, right here, right there. It's like a pinpoint right there. And I want it to stay right there. I don't want it to blend anywhere. I just want to tame it. You know, like a lion tamer with a chair. Back, back, back. Right there. Right there. That's it. That's all it gets, right that, like that. Okay, for the yellow, oh my. The very dark on it, I hesitate to have you put a little bit more because I haven't seen your work. I don't know if you need this or not. Right in here, a little bit more of your yellow ochre to make sure it's there. A little bit right in here, just a little. You can even stroke it in a little bit to where it's like veins. That puts it there without getting overpowering. If you know what I'm saying, you don't want it to be overpowering. Overpowering at this point turns your beautiful yellow brown, and you don't want that. So just little. Stay little at the edge right here. Stay little, little, little. And don't bring it into the light at all. Stay little right here. Little right here. And of course I ran out of color again. Why wouldn't I? Because we do that. Right there. And right there. Okay. This, I don't really want any over there. This, maybe a little bit right here. And it stays in the dark area. It doesn't go into the medium area. Right in there. And not at the edges, I don't think. Okay, just like that. All right. This has to be dry before you do the purple accents. It has to be dry. If you doubt whether it is or not, don't do it. But we are going to do those little folds, and to do those we need purple. And we've got a concentrated amount of purple. It's going to go right here next to the petal, but where that other purple would begin, it ends. Okay, so it's going to be right there and right there. Wash your brush out. and you want dampness only. And you're going to just touch your edge right here with that damp brush and let your purple follow it. You're not even putting any paint there. You're just letting that purple follow that water. Well, let's destroy the world. Okay. I want a little bit more on this one. Right there. Dark. Right there. And then light here. And then it just follows right there. And it just flips and folds back on itself. Just waves in the wind. A flag would be done the same way. Coming up, the United States of America is going to be 250 years old. I figure we ought to do something to commemorate that, and a flag would be, okay, a living nightmare. I'm going to tell you. Oh, you have to mix a purple? Oh, no. Well, that's all right, though. It'll work beautifully. Okay, now, I want to show you the accents. Okay, the accents and the, those accents are the part of what makes this beautiful, okay? And if you need a red violet and you don't have a red violet, how do you make a red violet? Well, guess what? You're going to add a red to your purple. Now, which red do you add? Well, let's not get crazy, okay? We don't want anything too dark. I'm afraid alizarin crimson might make it too dark. Let's see what happens if we mix a permanent rose and a little bit of our purple. Let's try that. Oh, well, you know what? We got a beautiful red violet right off the bat. Now, I'm going to tell you, I do not believe it is as bright as the red violet that I have on my palette, but that might not be a bad thing either. All right, now I want this to be very wet. And what I mean by that is this. Not a lot of water. I want the paint to be thin. Okay, I don't want to put a whole great big bunch of this on here. But right here in your light area, I want you to just touch that with that red violet. Right there. And right there. Wash out your brush to where you only have a damp brush. And you're going to come back with just the water and blend so that mixes with that purple. It's right there. And right there. And it just tints those beautifully. And so they're no longer lavender and purple. They're purple, and the light is picking up that pink. It's beautiful, actually, if you could see it in person. Okay, I don't really want to do anything to these yellow ones. If you are dry, this one's not. These two are. So, all right, all right, I'm going to tell you, you need to practice this first. If you have not used your liner brush, you want to practice with it. Let me find my liner brush. It's right here. I have a script liner. It's a really super skinny dude. And I'm going to mix water into my purple. It needs to be like 2% milk, or it won't even come off the brush. Just real thin. And you're going to be up on the tip of that, barely touching the paper. And you don't have to worry about my hand's not steady enough to do that, because wiggly is good. And you notice the quiet is because there's extreme concentration right here. Now, the trick is, if you don't have enough purple on there to begin with, they will turn brown. I want these to be brown. And more there. You don't want these thick. Just like that. And there. Now, in the center of this, I want this area to be purple. Just like that. And then it comes out into these little veiny, scary, weird things right there. Right in here. Let's put one there. Yes. You don't want them to be lavender. You want them to be purple. On the yellow part, let's see if that's, I think it's dry. We'll know instantly. Up, wait a minute, I gotta do one right there, just there. All right, first of all, I want to know where my yellow, I'm gonna call it a mustache, where the yellow mustache would be, right here. That would be my yellow mustache, okay? And so we're going to bring these out. Like this. And then inside here, tiny, tiny, tiny little hairs. Just like that. And if you have one of those white gel pens, that would be a beautiful thing to use. If not, you are going to use a touch of your white. And this is one of the very few occasions I ever use white watercolor ever. And honestly, this is not my preferred method. If you've got one of those pens, use it. All right. But on this, you want to be up on the very tippy tip right there. And there's a dot right there at the top of that. And then you press down and pull up. And he gets like not a handlebar mustache, because it doesn't curl up. It's just one on each side. Press and lift. Just like that. And of course, one side always comes out better than the other, because life's like that. Just like your hair's always better on one side than the other. Your bangs are always better on one side or the other. I don't know. It just is life. That's the way it is. And there it is. Okay, now that is done. Now, once you put that on there, that is really wet, and you do not touch it. Don't breathe next to it. Don't look at it. Don't don't put your elbow in it. None of those things. You want to just let it sit there. Okay, now because we need to let all this sit here for a little bit, I think we're going to be done for the evening. The next time I think next time we need to work on our little side petals. If any of you, do you remember how to do your leaves? You just finished your leaves. You can go ahead and paint your leaves on your own if you want to. If not, you can wait on me to do that. If it's just whatever you prefer to do. I don't want anybody to be worried about it, but if you think you can try it, go for it. That's my thought. That's my thought. So see what you can do. But we will paint these little side flowers next time. Now, when I say next time, normally I would be here next Monday at 7:30. And in my optimistic thoughts, I will be here next Monday at 7:30. Those are my optimistic thoughts. Now, what my realistic thoughts are, I don't know, because Thursday I have 2 toenails removed, and I really don't know how I'm going to feel. I've never done it before. The doctor says, "Oh, it's no big deal." I said, "Yeah, because they're not your toenails." That is the truth of the situation. And because I don't know, I can't tell you that I know. Because I don't know. I just don't know. But if I can, I will be. And so we will be here Monday to do these. If not, I don't know. We'll just wait until the following Monday, I think, because I I just some of you I know how to get a hold of you and to tell you this is when we're going to do it. But some of you, I don't have any way of getting a hold of you and telling you, hey, we're going to do this. Now, if you want to make sure you follow Paintbrush Brown on Facebook, that's where I put announcements. They're there. And we could conceivably, do a pop-up, a pop-up uh, video. I just don't know. But I would prefer to do Monday if I can at all. But we'll just have to wait and see. At some point, we're going to have to figure out a different time other than in the evening to do this. If I can't figure out this light situation, because now but I'm getting the lines again across the screen. It can't handle the direct light. It doesn't like it at all. See, and even that's too much. I don't know. I've got to figure it out, and I don't know how to figure it out. I'll just keep working on it. I don't know. Maybe I need more upper light, but we're in an RV. I can't, our motorhome, you just can't install new lights just because you want something different. Track lighting would be awesome, but I'm sure Don would not go for that. I did go to a couple yard sales Saturday, and those wire cube grids, that make the cubes. They had some of those, and I don't know. I've got a really good signal strength, according to what I'm seeing. It's better than I ever had in Indiana, and so I don't know, because here we're right next to a city. I mean, like, we're on it. So I don't know. I know that I see it more when the light. It's with the light. See there, I don't have it at all. So I don't know. I've just got to get that worked out. But I went to a yard sale Saturday, and I got those grids, and so I've been able to make a little bit more sense of my area here. So I've been working on trying to get this set up to where it would work right, but I've got to work on the lighting. So let me know what you think. If you've got any ideas about what I could do or how to do it, I'll give it a try. Give it my best shot because I want this to be good for you guys. And I did talk to my child and say, the lessons are going up. Are you watching them? And he gave me a thumbs up. So I don't know. Does that mean he watched all of it? I doubt it. I doubt it. It's not that I'm doubting his sincerity, but they're here. Good, good, good. But they'll be here when he wants them. So anyway, okay, so I'm going to sign off for tonight. I'm tired. I don't know about you, but this has been a big day. We went to the South Carolina DMV, and we are officially residents of South Carolina. Our vehicles were residents in March, but we weren't because Don didn't pass his eye exam. So he's been to the eye doctor. They're going to send him to a specialist recommending cataract surgery. So we're going to do that. And so we're getting everything together one by one. Things are working. And I'm very happy to say that when Marie messages me, how's your day been? I've been able to say several days in a row, fantastic. Fantastic. So don't ask me tomorrow. Tomorrow is root canal day. I'm hoping to say okay. I've got popsicles. I've got yogurt. I've got macaroni and cheese. I have jello. I just, beyond that, what can I do? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no memory of what it's like to get a root canal, which means it can't be that horrific, right? Because I don't remember it. But I don't know. The the last root canal I know was right before I got cancer. And with all the things that you're doing with cancer treatment, that blocks out a lot of things. Things you thought were horrendous before that aren't anymore. They're just not. So we don't worry. It's just, it's all okay. So, all right, you guys, be blessed, and I'll hope to see you next Monday. I'm not making any wild promises. I just don't know. So we will see how that goes. And I'm going to say, make today a happy day. Only you can. Your choices matter. Every single one. Be blessed. Love you guys. Bye-bye.